Welcome to today's webinar with the topic Journey Mapping at iGrafx. Today, my colleague Catherine will guide you through the webinar. She is a pre-sales consultant for the EMEA region and closes the gap between the tech and sales team, and thus always tries to present the technical possibilities of iGrafx in a comprehensible form. After only a few introductory slides, we will go directly to the tool to look at various modeling examples of a journey map and how they can be linked to internal processes. Finally, we will look at the evaluation possibilities to generate future insights for an optimization. You are all muted, but can ask your questions. In the course of the webinar, you can type the questions into the question field below. You can also set a hashtag anonymously or not anonymously. It's up to you. At the end of the webinar, we will pick up your questions. We plan about 30 minutes for the webinar and 15 minutes for the Q&A session. After the webinar, we will send you the link to the recording of the webinar. And in this context, we will clarify your open questions. This is from my side, and I hand it over to Catherine. I wish you a lot of fun at the webinar.
Hello, and a warm welcome also from me. And thank you to Irina for the nice introduction. Let's start right away. First, briefly about us. We were founded in 1991 and are an innovation pioneer since that time, and thus shaped terms such as swim lanes and what-if analysis. We are represented with our partners in over 80 countries, and our over 10,000 customers included 2/3 of the Fortune 100 companies. We enter into long-term partnerships with our customers and continue to be an innovation driver in our specialized field of business process management. We have taken into account that there is a quick start and easy use both for the normal user, as well as customization and advanced feature possibilities for expert users, who can use, for example, our expert simulation in a solution in which we are market leaders. We're happy to let also our customers speak. As you can see, iGrafx is used across all industries, and our speed and flexible usability are always very valued by our customers. iGrafx basically consists of a web portal for process management, with which you gain a lot of time and transparency. Individually adapted to your own needs, you can add more modules, so you activate only as much as you actually use, because not everyone needs, for example, the SAP integration. In the area of risk management, we are at the forefront with our development of ROPE, with which we combine risk management with automatic workflows. And the experts can make use of the powerful process simulation on the market. Not only default values, but detailed statistical formulas from Bernoulli to normal distribution, everything that a statistician heart would wish for is represented. The operation is fast and easy to handle. For example, a master student was able to use the simulation to implement a production reduction from 40 to 20 days. You can imagine she was hired directly after the master thesis in that company. For today, we'll have a closer look on the journey mapping, which is similar to the process management in the core tool. We use journey mapping to follow a full round-trip view. This lets you not only paint a picture, but also directly integrates it into the process landscape with relationships, so that not only performance can be measured and risks recorded, but also long-term optimizations can be carried out with the help of a gap analysis. For those who are new to journey mapping, it is a way of stepping into the shoes of the customer and follow his purchase journey from his point of view. The goal of it is to get insights as a company on where the journey may have critical breaks and view the buying process in a global way and not in internal department processes slices. By the way, the customer really does not care about your department responsibilities. He has his own problems and wishes. And that is exactly what you as a company want to find out. What drives the customer and for which of those needs you still have room for improvement. Shortly, I'm going into the Delife Tool, where we will look at the ways in which journey maps can be captured in iGrafx. You may have noticed that we are not just talking about customer journey maps here. This has the simple background that we not only allow customer journey maps, but have designed this openly so that even partners, employees, and product journeys can be modeled with us. We will see examples of this in the Delife Tool. And to prevent that journeys become only beautifully colored pictures, the journey moments are linked with objects and internal company processes, risks, KPIs, and chances, you name it. This enables analysis to be carried out and supports a continuous improvement of the customer experience. Thus, it becomes a constant part of the company. Okay. So here now we are in the browser and our web platform of iGrafx. We still have here the traditional start of a process house, where we see at the top the management processes, in the middle in blue the core processes, and the gray ones, the supporting ones. It is made so that you can click through the different levels, browse through the house, have a look at your own processes, and at some point you jump into the process diagram itself. So here we have the traditional BPMN diagram with who knows already about a graphic knows that he can open the describe window and have a closer look on who's responsible, the RACI matrix for this process display here, or even like which software supports it. Here, even also already the customer as a income work product, the strategies, goals, requirements, alignment, and also KPIs and risks to it. This is now a very internal view of how the process goes around, and the customer is just the product coming in, an external agent. But with customer journey, you can have a different view on it. So here we jump now into a customer journey. Also in an overview, you can, as we had with the process diagram, open the scribe window and you have here the description. In this case, we have the persona, the Mary, the manager of doers, which goes this journey. We are here in the B2B customer journey and have all these moments, the steps on this way. Also mapped internally our strategies and goals with that journey that we have, the risks, and even capabilities you can match to it as shown here, and the core measurement of the customer satisfaction. But not only the overview, but you can jump into the different moments and have also the information here, what really drives the customer in that moment, which touch points support that moment and are used, and also different measurements in these moments. You can map the capabilities or the software that is, for example, needed for a web demo for this persona. So this is how you can like get a quick overview. You can even integrate the further information directly into this window. So if I go here and say now, please show me my performance indicator, I have it directly into this diagram and can see it immediately. So this is something that you can use for a quick overview. But not only that, but we also have the possibility of the storyboard. So if I here have the storyboard and I jump into that, we have a more detailed view of this, which I'm sorry, did not work as planned. So we have here the storyboard and have the detailed view of what happens exactly in each moment. I'll just scroll out to give an impression further on. So here we have the different phases of the journey in blue, violet, gray, and light blue. So it starts with the awareness, where we have the first moments, the consideration, go on through the conversion phase, and finally to the retention. And here in the upper part, you see like the steps from and descriptions from the customer itself. It's also formulated in the view from the customer. So the customer says, I am reaching out to, and is described with the touch points and his feeling in this exact moment. At the bottom here in the gray area, we have the internal processes matched to this to each of this moment. So as for the customer, it would be here of most importance in a web demo. If he gets enough, not too much information or enough information, if the meeting happens to be in place. But of course, for the internal view, we have our usual pre-sales activities, the documentation or capabilities that we needed. And it is a different view that here you can match in detail, compare if even at some point you have some gaps in it, or if you have already KPIs in place to really have a view of this moment and what happens on the inside and for the customer on the outside. So this is a possibility to really go in detail through the whole journey with the customer and have here everything at your fingertip that is important for that. So this is a possibility here. You also have the description window again, where you have everything, the logical view at an overview, and here also always the more detailed information for each step in the view, but also in the visualization. What you can also do now is to really go and have more information on the journey. So the journey, if we go in there and we have here the Mary with all her moments, and the relationships, we can go further in and have in detail the relationships, the setting in all the company. So which opportunities or risks are adjacent with it, and really go into detail modeling. Which helps also is our repository for it. So we have in the repository, for those who are new to iGrafx, first the catalogs of objects here, so we can define strategies, requirements, control the processes, and here we have the journey objects, and further on a lot of already installed objects. And here at the bottom, we have also the individual folders where you can have the visualizations, documents, etc. So if we go now here and say, for example, that this customer journey has in place a goal that is not yet in here, you can just take it, and if you want to drop it, it's highlighted where it makes sense to put a goal. So a goal cannot be a responsible person, but can be set as a goal or pose a threat to this goal. So this is how you can work with it and adjust the logic. And as soon as you adjust it, or even in this case, take the presentation satisfaction out of here, it will be also immediately adjusted in the diagram itself. So here we have the described settings, and here we see our diagram that we adjusted a minute ago with our information of additional KPIs. And here we have also linked the storyboard to it, so I can see which diagrams are already linked with this journey, or in this case, even if one more that we have not seen yet, where I jump into now. And here we have also possibilities of putting in big pictures at a background to really design it as you wish. And also here we have the information again immediately, so you don't have to type it over and over again, but have with the centralized object world everything in here already. And also as we adjusted that we say the one goal is not fitted here, it disappears automatically, so you have to manage it only once. So here you can really work with all the points and and go also into the other journeys which we have a look at now. So here, for example, in the employee journey, which is more designed in this case compared to the traditional BPM notation. So we have here the start event and then this job search for the employee. So it's the journey how the employee can come into this company and which touch points he goes through, where here maybe important KPI and gateways are in this process, and have also a closer look at what happens there. The same goes for a partner onboarding journey, which also is here put in a nice way. So we start together, and it's also interesting to really have a look at how was it for maybe for the partner to really sit down, have the portfolio comparison, the synergy concept, until finally we're there at the top together, partnering with going out to customers. So this is something really you can go into which journey ever is important to you and have a closer look. Also in this case for the product, which also has a journey, a life cycle. So it starts with the idea from the creation until also here we have again the customer in it, that you try to make it ready for the market, ready for the customer to use, you deliver it, expand it, and then it starts over again with a new ideas. So this can be all interlinked with together. Here we have the jump again back to the customer journey, where you want the customer to onboard on your new product and can have a closer look if this works out. So we have here in the diagram all the functionalities that we have with the process diagram. So we see which version it is, if it's approved or not. I can put into comments and to chat with my colleagues. And that is really something that you can talk about a customer journey, have a look if there's something more to say to it, and we'll compare notes, have it in different languages. So for example, here for the German region, I just switched the languages. I have it in German now, can switch it back. You see already there are a few more languages here. And so you can really communicate in an easy way and have all the information. You always can see here in the history how it evolved, compare with old versions. So if we have a look at an older version, it changed really a lot. We have in gray the visualization and red ones what was before, in green the new one. I can use the slider to compare where it moved from to where it is now, and have also the list of what happened there in the changes, and also compare different versions with together. Or even just instead of an overlay, put it side by side and have a look what was and what is now. So this is something very useful for the comparison and also for the cycles to manage. So here you have the normal cycles as we have from the process management. So you can put it into review or with your colleagues. You can approve it so it's visible for all your employees, so that I know where in this customer process they are, and also let it endorse if you feel the importance of it. So this is something you can do, and even say like which group should approve it. You can set also on a date if you put, for example, a new product into effect for a new journey. So this is something you can do anytime. And if I start the cycle, I also have here my to-do. I see it now on my list to really approve it. I can compare it as we saw before, give a voting, and have it approved in a new version, this time with the KPIs additionally to it. Also, I can create a narrative for it, where I see an overview, a report to it. Here we have the summary purpose, who is all involved in it, the diagram itself, and the information according to it, and a little history. So, but not only this report, but you can really go into the details of the reporting. You can create also your own reports. We'll have a look at some examples of what you can really look at. So, of course, a general overview is possible. So here we see the journey, the persona for the journey, the moments, even marked which moments are a zero moment of truth, for example. First moment comes from the marketing and shows you the really relevant breaking points of a journey. And also you can go into details with capabilities or business services and your goals. So this is something in the overview, but then you can also just have a close look at one of your journeys, in this case, the B2B customer journey. Here we have the KPIs from the moments matched and also the internal processes, which maybe have their own measurements, and really have a look, okay, where can I get my information from it? Or just have a look at a metrics report to really map my internal processes with the moments of this journey to have a further insight. All these reports, you can always go on download data, and then you have it in the Excel files, which you can further use or print out or communicate in your company. Also have nearly every report that you can think of. Here we have a more detailed moment overview. So always the moment, which touch points can be critical in these moments, the measurements and risks. So here you can really go through it and also always sort it or look for something in special. To further also have a nice overview is the risk matrix. So not only for the process management, but also for the journey, you can mark your critical moments where you have risks, where maybe there's still no control in place to mitigate those risks. So you can really jump into, here we have, for example, the red risk marking for the demo. So if the demo has a risk of not being responsive to individual needs. So if I make a demonstration and it's completely not about what the customer wants or needs, so this is something where you really have a big problem. And instead of clicking through everything, you can create your dashboard for having a really nice overview. So here we have the journey dashboard example, where at the start you have the customer satisfaction index, like your most important index if you're in a customer journey or a customer experience. Have also your moments listed where you can jump into them directly, and an overall journey performance where you see with the traffic light in yellow, okay, there's something up, and click into it and see, oh, okay, I have a few problems here with my research moment, for example, and go into it and see, okay, my Google Analytics homepage traffic or what's up, and really go in detail into this KPI and have a look what's happening there. Also, here we have in the overview again, the overview of this journey, which you see that already is the current version. So everything is updated automatically. It's very comfortable with the system, with the integration centralized object world, and also directly your most important report to see it immediately. So this is a possibility how you can create it. You can anytime get a new gadget, create your own dashboard or arrange it differently. We have also examples from the other regions where you really can even integrate, for example, videos into your dashboard or create a different landing page with links or further informations. So this would be the most important, and give you some impressions of what you can really do in this platform with journey mapping. And I'll jump back into the slides now. So what we saw were in the tool the possibilities of designing a journey map and how it can be embedded into the entire process structure of the company. You have the full flexibility depending on the industry and area to customize them for your personal needs. iGrafx offers several deployment options. However, the latest features, such as the today's journey mapping, are only available in the cloud. In general, further developments will focus on the cloud, and on the long run, some features will never be available on premises anymore. The advantage of the cloud is that the updates are done without any effort by your own IT, and therefore the latest updates are automatically available. We are often asked how long it takes to start with iGrafx. You can, of course, start immediately, or as two of our customers may plan this year, take our individualization offer of our consultants so that everything is displayed in your look and feel, and everyone receives a refresher course, maybe in BPM notation or journey mapping. And in both cases, they were only in 1 week ready to start. The practical thing about iGrafx in general is that you are instantly fit for the future. In addition to the scalability of the platform, which runs even at our installation of users in the 6-digit range at one of the largest banks in the United States, you can rely on iGrafx for simple enhancements like the expert simulation without having to change the systems just because a specialist department needs an expert tool. The ability to fluently interconnect different topics makes iGrafx an important tool for a holistic view of your company. So now we reached the time for questions. Please submit them into the Q&A window, and I'll give back to Irina.
Thank you, Catherine, for the introduction of the journey mapping. And now, so it's time for the questions. The first question. What shows in the view when it pulls underlying data segregated by security roles?
I'm not sure if I understand the question correctly. The security roles of if it's meant to match really the person to the responsibilities.
Maybe just this person who asked this question can write it so in more detailed. It would be great. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, maybe if I guess correctly, you can always have a role according the rights to see or not to see. So especially like the approval cycles that we just went through, you can also additionally have like folders just for viewing for special groups if that is meant by it.
Okay. What type of train-the-trainer programs do you offer? Detailed user guides?
We have a consultant team that can really individualize, do an individual training with you. Of course, additionally to that, we have how-to videos and files to get you through the system. I think for really going to what the consultants in detail offer, there's some information on the homepage, but we can also have a call later on to go through the offers.
Does this application interface directly with statistical analysis software, for example, Minitab?
You can actually integrate and connect with different software. So the KPIs that we saw, you can have immediate import. The analysis of like the statistic simulation that I talked about, that's a separate program from us that you can use that is directly connected with the BPM tool. And that is also we can have a look at that later, or an individual meeting.
Mm-hmm. Who typically would be the one personally to develop and maintain this info? At what points in the project? How does using this tool fit into agile projects?
Okay, the tool can be used in many ways, actually. If we concentrate on the journey mapping, this we have the typical role would be the customer experience officer. If that does not exist yet in your company, it is often also done by the process manager or marketing, actually, often initiate this program, who have a more customer-centric point of view. And as for agile projects, as we saw, that changes are immediately in effect for like every level that you use it, and makes it very comfortable and easy to use for agile projects. So you can have a good collaboration and always are up to date.
Mm-hmm. Can I use my own designed shapes for the customer journey?
Yes, you can do that. We saw already a few different shapes and versions how you can actually integrate your personal library of shapes and with your custom colors of your company, and make it mandatory to use only those.
Mm-hmm. Do best practice examples exist that we can use for the journeys?
Yes, they do. They do. We have best practice examples, and also, as I mentioned before, the consulting team that can apply them with you so that you can create based on them your own example type.
Mm-hmm. Can I start with the journey mapping and add process management later on?
Yes, you can do that. So the journey mapping is already in the standard in this tool integrated. So you can start right away with the journey mapping and then go step by step into the world of process management.
Okay. Thank you, Katrin, very much. We don't have any questions. And thank you for your participation at the webinar. If you're interested in the planned webinar, just look at our website and register. And we wish you a good working day. And maybe till the next webinar.
Thank you too. Wish you all a great evening, afternoon.